to the K's, stories of progress. A to the K's, stories of progress.
Hello, one and all. Welcome to Stories of Progress. We're your hosts, A to the K, and joining us today is the former Progress Women's World Champion, the most dangerous woman in Europe, Rio. Thanks so much for being here. How are you?
No, I'm good. Thank you for having me. I'm really good, actually. Yeah, yourself, other than having whatever flu you've got going on at the minute.
Other than the flu, I'm not too bad.
Surviving, aren't you?
I'm surviving.
So we started because obviously your journey in Progress Wrestling started in 2021 with the Revelations of Divine Love tournament. So in that you defeated Lana Austin, Sky Smithson, and Mercedes Blaze. So just looking back on that, I just wondered if I could ask sort of what did that tournament mean for your career?
Well, I think it was the start of everything that I've has now followed Progress. For me, I think I was I wasn't really sure at the time if I was really ready, because I think Progress is one of those companies that I always wanted to get to, and then with the the pandemic and everything, I thought, we didn't know where wrestling was going and everything like that. So I thought, well, let me just see, let me ease my way in, let me see what we can do here. But then I feel like I really felt like it was right, and I felt like now I actually can. I can not only just compete with the people here, but I can get to the top here. I feel I think after the first match, I was like, no, I believe that I can sit at the top of this company. Yeah. So I think it was really important for the confidence aspect of me, that tournament.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We fast forward from then to 2022. You're standing across the ring from Gisele Shaw, obviously challenging for the Women's World Championship. Obviously, the result didn't go your way that time, but looking back, did that, you mentioned about kind of being ready for it, but did that match really kind of change your focus or your approach at all?
Yeah, I think when you're standing there, because we were the main event in Manchester as well, so I felt like everything was in my kind of best interest there, because we were in the north, and I was like, right, this is it. North, we're representing, we're doing it. And then, like you say, I fell short that day, and that did make me question. I was so confident going into it, thinking, now I'm going to take my rightful spot at the top, and then, like you say, it didn't happen for me. Gisele, was the better woman that night, and she won. So it does always give you that element of doubt. Well, it used to my mindset wasn't the way it is now. So then I was like, oh, do I fit in here? Even though that was, like you say, it was after that, I just thought, oh, I'm not sure if I am, if I can hold my ground here. But then it just took it took me going, back to the drawing board with my tail in between my legs, kind of coming off the loss and thinking, right, there's something needs to change, and I'm the only person that can do it. So what is it? So I think it took my mindset changing to realize that every loss helps you. If you don't fail, you'll never succeed. You can't just succeed all the time. So I think it was later on, even after that I realized, now looking back at them, how important those parts were to me at Progress as well. So
yeah, love the attitude.
No, that's it. I mean, sort of in line with what you're saying there, with 2022, it did have some rough moments for you with losses to Kanji, Laura D'Amatteo, and is it fair to say that those losses in 22 are sort of that is what sort of lit the fire under you with the push to becoming Progress Women's Champion?
Definitely, because I think with every loss, you think, right, I'm going into the next one to win. I'm not having that feeling of being the loser, because it sucks. So you go to the drawing board and you're right, what went wrong? You try and fix it. And then you go in confident again. You think, right, I fixed that surely now should go right. And then you fall short again, and you think, oh, now what's gone wrong? So it's that process of figuring out what was going wrong to then make it right. But again, with every loss, it's important, because you learn if you learn from them, then you'll succeed. So everyone should learn from losses and, just take them as they go.
Definitely.
No, it's definitely the right way to look at it. You did win the right to a championship match by winning the Thunderbastard key. What's it like wrestling in a Thunderbastard match?
It's nuts, because it's like a small rumble, but not a rumble, because you just got that next person coming in until you get to your amount of people. and then it's like a scramble match, but then it's also like a gauntlet match. It just feels like it's a mad match, and you're always trying to keep like the eyes in the back of your head, the front of your head, the side of your head, like you're trying not to let
There's so many moving parts, isn't there?
Yeah, there's so many moving parts and there's so many people, and you're just thinking like, where is everyone? Who's still left in this? And it's managing so many different people at one time. Where I'm like, who's next? Like you just think when you're like on the top there, you're like, yes, right, I've just battered this person, and all of a sudden you feel like someone whacked at the back of your head, and you're like, oh yeah, I forgot about you.
Definitely a lot going on.
Too much going on.
Yeah.
So you mentioned sort of briefly then about going back to the drawing board, and that sort of takes me to October 23. Obviously, it took you just 20 seconds to stun Lana Austin and become the new Progress Women's Champion. Can I just ask what was going through your head when you unlocked that opportunity? Was that sort of a pure instinct moment, or has that been sort of a long game that you were playing there?
It was the long game because with like at the time, Lana Austin had Rob Drake with her. And she also had the Lana Austin experience with Sky in LA. So I was like, it was getting her alone to do it because, so with that, people were constantly saying, oh, you didn't really beat Lana though, did you? Because you took like the chance when she was down. And I was like, yeah, that's the point. That's like the point of any person who ever wins Money in the Bank. That's like, why would I take her on when she's got 3 people on the outside and she's fresh? Like that just lowers my own chances. That would make me an idiot.
Exactly, yeah.
But
gotta play the odds.
It was a long game trying to get her alone because it was like waiting. Like if Rob weren't there, the Lana Austin experience were there, and vice versa. So it's watching the cracks form between all them lot, and then watching like the time frame where like, oh, Rob's handling business over there, and they're not even a part of this group anymore. And then I found like that moment that she was so confident in herself and too arrogant, just because I think that was the match that she'd beat Alexis Falcon and said that right, Alexis Falcon can't challenge for the Progress Women's World Championship anymore. So I was like, it was that moment where she's so confident that she just made it through Alexis Falcon through literal antics all the way through. And then she thought, oh, she's all right. And I thought, nah, now's the time. It's going to be now or never. So It was a long game, but at the same time, it was a very split-second decision at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, just finding that right opportunity.
That's it, yeah.
I mean, then came the reign, like 14 months, like so many defenses, international spotlight on the title. What do you think made your time as champion so special, and what are you most proud of about obviously what was a pretty historic reign?
I think it was the fact that I don't think many champions are, when they become a champion, it seems like they then go off to do like, oh, everyone else can fight except me, and then find me someone worty. But I didn't want to be like that. I didn't want to take time off. That just makes me lazy, and I think makes me complacent. And I don't want I want to keep my eyes on what's going on. If that's a division that I'm going to reign over, then I need to see everything that's happening. So I wanted to wrestle people. Yeah, like, what's the point of being a champion if I'm just sat on the sidelines? I'd rather not.
Exactly.
That's boring for me. So, like, if anyone wants it, they can more, I welcome it. But with Progress, I say that and people take it the wrong way. Then they go, oh, okay, so I'll jump you. No, you didn't have to do that. You could have just asked, like, could have just gone to the management and said, can I have a match? When I say, ask me, it's just do that. Like, I'll take anyone on, but it just seemed like everyone thought that the acceptable way was to jump me. So that was getting a bit annoying. But I also think, like you say, putting such an international spotlight on Progress as a division, like the women's division and the championship, made it special. I think like being able to go to America and like walk into America champion, walk back out, and like wrestle the American girls for the Progress Championship, and they obviously still couldn't take it from me. Them kind of things. Like there was a point that I remember someone asking me about like the UK wrestling, and they were saying like, oh, the UK is dominating now, and they were like mentioning myself and like Luke and Doris and people like that. And I was like, okay, this is now we're putting Brit wrestlers gone from being dead to one of the hottest things going. So for me, I was like, right, we're doing something right here. Americans are saying how they love watching Progress and they love watching the British wrestling scene, and I was like, right, we are very much on the right path. We're doing the right things. So I think that was making it special, knowing that there was people from other countries like wanting progress and wanting to see the wrestlers of Brit Wrest and things like that. So that was special.
Yeah, I think as well, obviously, resulted in such a high ranking on the PWI list as well. It just goes to show the exposure that you got there. So
yeah, no, that's
this
amazing.
is it, yeah.
It must be surreal when you, like you say, you're going international and then you're hearing sort of your name in the conversation as well about pro wrestling today. That's awesome.
It is, yeah. Like the PWI thing was crazy as well because I thought, well, I feel like I had a good year. So in my head, I was like, I should have ranked decent, But then when it was like 25, and I thought, whoa, beating like WWE wrestlers, that's crazy.
Yeah, no, absolutely smashed it.
That's it. So obviously, as you say, you defended the title internationally in Germany and the USA. So you've worked with companies like DEFY, Coastal Championship Wrestling, and Noah. Just wonder if you could tell us a little bit about the experience of working with those companies as well.
Yeah, like working like with DEFY, that's so much fun because I think they have a lot of strong champions themselves. Like they had Vixen, and then they've currently got like Marina Shafir. So I think like they make the women's division seem as dangerous and as exciting as I'd like to think the Progress women's division is. And I think there's good quality wrestlers like all the way through. So I think working with DEFY is like it's literally like the American version of Progress. So I think that's real fun. And I'm hoping we're going to get more crossover shows or there's going to be something because I feel like people want Progress and DEFY, but I think we're collabing more than competing, which I get. That's cool. But put a bit of competition, a bit of fire, a bit of spice into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's go for it. The whole time I was champion as well, I was saying I wanted to face the DEFY champion, so I never got to face Vert when she was the champion, and then I was saying, right, it's got to be me and Marina. And while we were there, I was on commentary, and they were saying like, "Oh, what did I think of her impressive 200 odd days?" And I thought that was great. Oh, yeah, I think it was 200 odd days, and I was like, "Yeah, but it's not over 400." So when she gets to 400, then I'll be impressed then. But I was trying to set it up, I was trying to prod her. Maybe I shouldn't be prodding the bear, but I was trying.
I love that.
Yeah. It didn't happen, unfortunately, but I feel like it's got to happen at some point. We've got to have these little bits of competition.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like it's gonna happen.
Yeah, the paths will cross, won't they? Definitely.
We've got to talk. We've got to talk about Super Strong Style 16. Obviously, that ladder match. You can absolutely say that stole the show. How exciting was it to get such a huge match on that card, and how did it feel? Obviously, still stepping out champion at the end of it.
It was really exciting, but there was a lot of pressure because you think. Yeah. I understand the whole premise of Super Strong Style 16, but like it was the fact that it's the only women's match. So you think for people who've maybe never watched Progress and this is their first time seeing it, they're seeing one women's match and they go, okay, well, maybe they don't understand like what women's wrestling's had like to overcome. So they, they might just be quite skeptical of women's wrestling. So it was that added thing of being like, we need to do well. There is no option. There's no backup. There's no plan B. We need to 100% go out there and show them like anyone who's new to Progress or new to wrestling and has just come across it like, wow, everyone seems to be across the board doing it. So, and there is always the pressure. There is always the extra bit because you just think if it's the one match, you want the women to outshine as always, and we had the pressure from Alexis Falcon and Nina Samuels because the year before that, they'd stole the show with the Clock Strikes Midnight match. So it was like, right, okay, the women stole the show the year before. We need to do it again, and thankfully we did. So there was the pressure, but it was exciting. It was a ladder match as well. Like it needed to be something different. There was a lot of singles matches and tag matches or whatever over the weekend. So it needed something to break it up. And I think all four of us were sick of kind of crossing paths with each other and not getting anywhere. So it just needed that nail in the coffin, and I'm glad that it happened. And to walk out as well, again, it's that thing of I could have lost the championship without being pinned or submitted, and they're the kind of things that bug me when I'm like that was out of my control. So like to be able to walk back out still a champion, that was that was the best. And then to obviously then not long after that get the new championship, which then just shows how much the women's division has elevated. That felt even better to know that like the new look of Progress women's wrestling was me. I was the champion for like with the old championship, and I was the champion with the new one, and everything, like I feel like that was then me kind of adding a bit more of a like legacy to myself at Progress and adding to my story. So that was all the more special.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. So obviously your match against friend of the show, Lizzy Evo, at Werewolves of London was one of your longest title defenses and your first Electric Ballroom main event, I believe, as well.
Yes.
How do you look back on that match?
Do you know what? Like I look and I think that one was also like a very special one because a lot of people know outside of wrestling, me and Lizzy are very, very close. But we also have the same mentality in wrestling that you can be best friends all you want, but that friendship goes away when we're in there and there's a championship at stake. There's winners at stake, like it's business then. It's nothing personal. Yeah. I mean, it can get personal sometimes and then we have a further problem. But like, I think people knew that I think our relationship in that had a lot to do with how people felt. And then it was on top of that, again, the added pressure of being like the first main event, like women's main event at the Ballroom for some time. And then it was the first Progress show on Triller. So you're thinking like, not only do you want the people, like the fans across the world that watch Triller and now are watching Progress to go, you want the show to end on a massive high. But it was like on a business perspective of you want Progress to be able to make good deals with people like Triller. And the only way they're going to do that is if we're doing the good wrestling with the views and everything. And then if we didn't do well, people wouldn't have tuned into the next show or whatever. So they had that added pressure of it. This is potentially a business move as well. So we had to make sure that, again, it was something that just off the charts. But I think as soon as we got in there, it then the business side went. It was all the championship, the Six State, and it just came back then. It was just brand for brand. She is her, I am me. And as wrestlers, who is going to be the one that now shoots up. So, and it ended up being me shooting up the mountain kind of thing. So, thankfully. But I think it was, I do think it was the emotion. Like a lot of people know, like they see us at shows and stuff. We're on a lot of the similar shows together. We have trained in a lot of the same places, or like we've wrestled a lot of the same places, a lot of the same people, and we've had so many similar experiences in and outside of wrestling. Yeah. And then when it comes to a head, it's then like, again, like I say, it's putting that friendship on the back burner. And it had got personal into that one as well. I think that was where it was like, she jumped me. Surprise. I know. Someone jumping me at Progress, no way. But like, yeah, she jumped me. And I think her jumping me was worse than anybody else because she's the one I just wouldn't have expected it. And like, she knows that she could have just said, I want to face you for the championship on the next show. And I've gone, yeah, sure. No worries. Yeah. But she didn't do it that way. And that did then cause the knock-on effect for the match. And it did take its toll on us having like our friendship. So, but then you can't not respect someone who hit you in the face that hard. So I think at the end, it was the respect came back. So,
But given that she is a fellow Scouser, it's disappointing that she jumped you in it. To be fair,
it is, isn't it? You know what I mean? That's what it like. Come on, Northerners are Northern alike. Like that's not how we handle business. Yeah. Just stay.
That's it. You're not just representing the women's match there. You're representing the North as well.
This is it. Yeah, we had to go to not coming down here and putting on a half-hearted show. No way. The Northerners are coming down and we're representing the main event, and then we're getting our bums back up north where we belong.
I love that, and it's just so many moments that you've been like, as you say, so many high stake moments and stuff. It just shows, obviously, the I guess the faith that Progress have in you to give you those to give you the ball in those moments. But obviously, December last year came Nina Samuels just over in 15 seconds. After dominating for 400 odd days, as you said, like how much did that moment hurt, and especially being duped the way that you were?
Yeah, I think so. With that one, I think my anger comes from her, the way she did it. Like,
yeah,
to again got jumped again, but then to goad me in that way, like to just be calling me out for stuff when you've just literally jumped me. You can't stand face to face with me in a fair, like, ring the bell, let's go situation. So obviously you had to get your digs in beforehand. And then I get angry because I think I should have known better. I should have known exactly the game she was going to play, and I should never have fallen for the trap that she set. Like I know better. So that was me. Maybe I needed to. I should have checked my ego, because if I'd have just walked away, that would have made me no lesser of a champion. It made me no lesser of a woman, and made me no less dangerous or dominant. But for some reason, she just hit a nerve, and I think it's just from all the work that I'd done, and she's still trying to say that I was being a coward and things like that. I think it had just literally got me, and I saw red with it, and I thought, right, that's it. And then stupidly, I was already going into it and had 100% there because she bloody jumped me at the start, and then like you say, it was an embarrassment of how fast that was over. It just all seemed like, I don't know, it was like a blur. It all just went so fast, and then before I know it, I'm like getting dropped on my head, and like it hurt a lot because I'd done so much with the Progress Women's Championship, and I think I'd made the division 100% on point. Like, I think I'm the only person who's ever gone, we have the strongest division in Europe. It weren't just me. I weren't just bringing myself up saying, oh, I'm this and I'm that. I mean, I was doing, but not just solely. I was bringing everyone else up with me, and I was saying, like, our division is the best in Europe, and I won't have anyone tell me different. And if you've got an argument, please bring it forward, and I will prove to you how you're wrong. So I was trying so much to bring the eyes to the division as a whole, but then it's someone like her who she doesn't care. She doesn't care about the rest of the division. I don't think she cares about Progress. I think she just wanted another shiny belt to add to her collection, like a nice little title for her. And it's all a look. She's all show. She is the Nina Samuel show. It's all glitz and glam and pink and all that, not the nitty gritty division that we wanted to build, and we wanted something that people want to be a part of. I don't want to be part of the Nina Samuel show. I couldn't think of anything worse. If anything, I get it cancelled. You know what I mean? I don't, that's not my business. That's not my lane. I'm a wrestler. I'm not bloody doing all that. But again, it was heartbreaking to lose in that way in front of everyone. And I feel like so many people wanted me to hit the Ginny record. And I was so close. It was that one show that I had to get past. And again, I think it's just, maybe it's an ego thing that I needed to walk away, and I didn't. So
No, we share your frustration. I get it. But obviously, you know, the company is Progress. So I think it's only right to ask, in terms of progression and the time you've had with the company, how does the Rio that debuted in 2021 compare to the Rio we see in front of us today?
Do you know what? I think it's all I can put it down to is mindset, I think the Rio that you saw in 2021 was so excited to be there and had more self-doubt and wasn't as physically fit and as strong as I am now. I think now I'm mentally stronger, I'm spiritually stronger, I'm physically stronger. I feel like my experiences have made me better in every possible way. But like, it really is the mindset thing. I think you've got to really hit rock bottom to then come up and shoot to cloud nine. I think people don't understand. A lot of people have said to me, like, the past, say, 6 months, like, oh, you're so lucky. No, not really. Like, the luck has nothing to do with it. Like, when other people haven't shown up, I have. The days that I'm tired or I'm hurt, like, you get back from a wrestling show at 2 a.m. and I'm still going to the gym. I'm still getting up. I've got bruises all over. I've got people in the gym who've asked me if I'm okay at home. They're like, you've got a lot of bruises. Are you okay? Do you need help? And I'm like, no, it's fine. I'm just a wrestler. It's all good. Yeah. I'm not getting, I'm not in any trouble at home. But people don't see the work that goes into it. And I think is that maybe my fault? Do I share my social media as too much of a highlight reel? Do I show all the good stuff too much, which then makes people think that this is easy or that I'm lucky? Because I always say to people, there's just so much. Like, I drive, so I've got so many miles on my car, and I've done the long days. I've done the setting up the ring and taking it down again and wrestling on that show. I've dropped people off home constantly. I've done 2 matches on a show if someone's dropped out. I've been in tag matches. I've wrestled the men if I've needed to, if the like any places needed me to. So people don't see those bits. They don't see the long nights, the sacrifices, the family gatherings that I've missed because I wanted to up my game and get on these shows and things like that. So I think when people understand that you really do have to do all of these things, pay your dues to wrestling, and then again, like, I think there's so many people that would say at some point I've hit rock bottom and you just can't stay there. You've got to, again, back to the drawing board thing, you've got to sit there and go, right, this is a horrible feeling. I'm not happy here. How do I change it? Sometimes it's swallowing a harsh pill of being like, I'm not good enough and I need to be better. So maybe that's going to the gym. I need to make my body in better condition. I need to get stronger. Maybe that's mentally. You need to take things less personally, or, you need to look at a loss as a way to learn. But I think it's just now I feel like I've got a samurai mind. I feel like the mindset is so on that everything else just follows suit now. So I think, again, I do have to just give it to my mind is so different now. And that is the mindset of a champion. That is really the way it's got to be.
Yeah, I love that. Absolutely no one can question the dedication.
No, that's the thing. And do you know what? I think I love the way you've explained that, because that's kind of exactly why we wanted to do a show like this, isn't it? Really to sort of, I suppose, understand. And as you say, a lot of people, they see the result and they don't see the work that goes into it. And there must be times that it is frustrating when it's referred to as being lucky, as you say, when you've had to work your ass off for that. So I really appreciate you explaining it in that way, because I think that's the type of thing we want to highlight with this sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is it. People really do see the glamorous side. They see the nice fancy outfits that you wear or whatever, and then they don't understand. Well, with that comes more costs. Yeah. Like if someone looks at me and goes, "Oh, that gear that you're wearing, it's really nice." Yeah, it cost a pretty penny as well.
Exactly.
To get there. So with everything, there's always. I try and look at like everything, whether it be wrestling and life, as the yin and yang. You've got to be sad to be happy. You can't go up if you've not been down. There's always the one to the other, isn't there? So when people say like, "Oh, again, that's nice what you're wearing," it will be nice because it cost me money, and it cost me a lot of money. So with one thing comes the other. So that's another thing I think people don't understand is it wasn't free. So definitely was not free.
Yeah, my gosh. Like that. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. That's really like inspirational. Obviously, next up you've got a dream match in Meiko Satomura at Chapter 177. What does that match mean to you, to be stepping in the ring with her, and how do you prepare for a legend like Meiko?
Right, listen, I don't know. I'm just trying my best here. Like, I'm trying to make sure that the cardio's in, the weights are going and improving, the body's looking in great shape. Mentally, again, I'm trying to make sure that I'm thinking in the right process. I don't want to let an ego get to me again, which lost me the championship. So I don't want to fall victim to anything. I understand the career that Meiko's had, and for that level of longevity and how intense she is, her body must be ridiculously strong and her mind even stronger. So I don't think I've ever faced anyone like Meiko. I've faced like Miyu Yamashita and things like that, but I don't think I've faced someone on Meiko's level. And I think especially because it's going to be her last singles match in the UK, I think she's probably coming for blood. So I'm fully aware that she's not going to take any like easy road with me. She's going to make sure that this is like probably the worst experience in my life in a way. But it's good and it's bad, because I think I'm trying to bounce back from such a devastating loss, and my first match back is Meiko Satomura. So yeah, great, thanks. I'll start off easy, shall I?
That's it.
But I guess I always think I wouldn't be put in this position if I wasn't able, and the honour that she is willing to wrestle me, because I guess if she, on her retirement tour, if she didn't want to, she'd have straight up said no. And there's nothing anyone could do. So it's nice because she must want to wrestle me too. So it's nice to think that I can be like the last singles match. Like what a way to go down in history of being the last singles match in the UK is me.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that's crazy. When I say it like that, then it really doesn't settle in still, and I'm like, ugh. But I'm excited for it because I need something like that. I need someone to test me like that. And I hope that the work I've done since unboxing and the embarrassing loss will now show in my match with Meiko.
Yeah. I'm sure. Yeah, as you say, that samurai mindset, you're ready for it.
It's got to be done. I'm doing it. I haven't done all this work on mentally and physically and everything for it all to fall through. So,
no, exactly. Obviously, speaking of obviously technique and the like, your style sort of blends power and technique. So I just wondered, really, who would you say your sort of biggest influences were, and sort of the ones that helped sort of shape your in-ring style?
Ooh, I think the first person I remember really being like, that's who I want to be like, was Beth Phoenix. I just saw her and she was just so different to all the other women. She just came out, she had the muscles, she was still glamorous, she still looked like beautiful, but she had the muscles, and then she was just like, when she stepped in the ring, you could tell that the atmosphere changed. Whether it was like a rumble and those other people, or whether it was like just like a segment that they're doing. She walked in and you could just see everyone be like, oh no. It was just the aura that she had, and like the intimidation that she had. Like she owned every kind of moment that she was ever given. And I thought that to me is someone like, I want to be someone like that. I want to be able to like change the whole energy in the room. I want to be able to be one of those wrestlers that like, you can say whatever you want online, or you can say whatever you want to a camera. But when it comes being face to face, stood with me, you can see the look in people's eyes change and the confidence. You can see it just drain out of them. And I'm like, right, I'm doing it now. I'm doing what I want to do. And then as I got more into understanding, because when I first started watching wrestling, I didn't know anything other than WWE. Yeah. So when I started to delve more into wrestling, it was Bull Nakano. And I was watching her stuff and I was like, wow, like, look at her. Like, I remember seeing her hit the leg drop from the top and then bounce back to her feet. And I was like, that is insane. That is mad. Like, the whole momentum and the power that she's just hit. And she's just straight back onto her feet. And then she was off doing something else. Throwing people around like they're just, like, carrier bags. Like, in the wind. She was just like, people were gone. And I was like, that's so cool. And she was another one who just, like, she walked in and people were like, why am I fighting such a person like this? Like, she brought a presence with her, and I was like, that's so cool. That's what I want to be.
Yeah, great choices there, I think, both.
Yeah, 100%.
So you've also been announced for Chapter 179 in Vegas. How excited are you for that?
Oh, buzzy! I've never really like been interested. I don't know if this sounds bad. Oh well, I'm going to say it anyway. I was never really interested in America until like last year. When I went for the first time, I was excited to go to Philadelphia and for WrestleMania week. So I was more excited about WrestleMania than America. Yeah, and then I had a taste of America, but I don't know, like it was okay. But then when I went to Orlando, that was when I was like, oh, this feels like the America that I watch on TV. Like this feels like the true experience. Maybe we just weren't in the right place in Philadelphia, but Orlando. But I think what helped with Orlando is the heat. Like Philadelphia is quite cold, and I was like, oh. God, this is just like at home. It's just, what am I doing? But like, Orlando was hot all the time, so I loved it.
Oh,
but I wasn't really that phased about it. Like, I never really like would sit there and go, I really want to go to America. I just lived my life, And I thought if a job came around, like any major promotion, then that'd be cool to go to America. But I was never thinking off my own back about visiting. But like, I think when you think of America, a lot of people probably think like Florida, they probably think LA, New York, and I think Vegas is up there for everyone. Just on like sheer bloody casinos and life, Sin City and everything it's supposed to be. But living near
you'll get the heat there as well.
Let me see, is this what Blackpool's trying to be? Is this what they're up to? So intrigued to see it in its glory, to be honest. And also,
will you be able to let us know how it compares to Blackpool now?
This is it, I think it's interesting. Let's see Blackpool, how Vegas you are.
That's it. Have they got any Las Vegas rock? You know what I mean?
Well, that's it, yeah. Come on.
See, hot donuts, fish and chips. So you bet they're missing out. Tell you what.
That's it. Right, so you've obviously you've held gold. Sorry, let's start again. You've held gold. You've wrestled internationally, main evented. So when you think about your legacy, what do you what do you want your name to mean when people talk about Rio's time in Progress?
I want people to think of Progress and think of my reign. Not even anything in particular of the reign, but like I just want them to think of Progress and go, oh, like the champion that dominated, the literal person that from the second of walking in Progress won one tournament, won another tournament, won the championship, held it for a record amount of time realistically, because you know I still feel like I'm pretty much the longest reigning champion. I shouldn't say it because I'm not taking nothing away from Ginny. Ginny was fantastic, but you know some of that reign was during COVID, so I feel like I've been screwed here. You know, not and through no fault of her own. Like, you know, she can't help that COVID happened, but I'm a bit like, I feel like I've been like skewed out of this somehow. So for over 400 days and 20 defenses, I'm happy with that. So I should think that people will think of the new era of Progress anyway, and think of me like similar to how like with the older Progress. I think you'd think women's division, you thought Tony maybe. And then the men's, he thought kind of British strong style and Pete, Tyler, and Trent and things like that. I'd want people to think of the new era Progress and then be like, oh, Rio. I imagine they'll probably think of Derice and Luke and stuff like that again, but I want my name to be attached when they think of Progress. Like they'll automatically go across to me.
Yeah, I think you'll always be synonymous with the Progress.
100%. I think you mentioned that dominated before, and I think that is sort of how you'd sum it up, how you'd sum your reign up, to be fair.
Yeah, 100%.
Good. I'm glad to see that's what you guys think, because that was what other people are thinking, hopefully. So that is
yeah, 1,000,000%. Rio, before we ring the bell on this interview, it's time for our segment that we call Quick Progression. So it's a lightning round with fast answers and no hesitations. Are you ready?
God, right. I don't know.
Okay.
Like I say, I sometimes say things I shouldn't, so let's see.
Favorite Progress opponent?
Oh God, I'm really bad at this. Maybe Lizzy.
Okay.
Okay. Dream Progress opponent?
Ooh. Natalia.
Ooh.
Just to stretch it really out in the field here.
No, I'd love to see that. If you could recommend one show on Demand Progress Plus, what would it be?
The Werewolves of London one where I main evented.
Nice.
If you could recommend just one match on Demand Progress Plus, what would that be?
The 4-way ladder match at Super Strong Style 16.
Yeah, great choice. And lastly, which 4 wrestlers are on your Progress Wrestling Mount Rushmore?
Ooh. For the new era Progress or the old era Progress, or are we combining?
Both are fine.
We can let you combine this.
4 people solely. That's hard.
Yeah.
Probably the worst question.
That's probably our
fire,
question,
isn't it?
Yeah, that's a rough one. I don't even know how you can quick fire that one. It's hard because I don't know if you could ever really have around Mount Rushmore for Progress as a whole. I think you'd have to break them up in the old era and the new era, because I think there's so many people that are essential parts of both, and I don't want to.
What if we did
what they deserve?
Okay, would you want to do a Mount Rushmore for the old era and a Mount Rushmore for the new?
Yeah, I think so. I think for me personally, when I think of like the old era Progress, it has to be British Strong Style. So I'll put those 3 already. And again, Tony, I think they're the people when I think of old Progress, I do think Pete, Tyler, Trent, and Tony. New, I'd say me. Obviously, just me. I'd say myself, Derice, Luke. Ooh, I'm torn between Cara and Spike. I'm torn between them 2 for the 4th one. Probably have to go Cara, because I think he came with us to America and stuff. So I think people who have pushed Progress past the ballroom kind of thing. But
that's fair, just tipsy.
Yeah, just it tips him over just that way. But like, I think like Kid Lycos 2 had an amazing match against Vikingo, so I think he's proven, whether it's tag team or not, that he is someone who's out there. And I don't know where Lycos Jim will go from here, but I think he's always someone who needs to be considered. I don't think he gets his flowers. So Kid Lycos 2 should definitely be a consideration there. So if I had to take myself out, maybe I'd put Kid Lycos 2. I'm not going to, but if I had to, I'd probably do that.
Rio, thank you so much for taking the time. Best of luck for your match with Meiko Satomura at Chapter 177.
Oh no, thank you guys so much. I love this. It's been so much fun. So thank you for having me.
We're glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, we loved it as well. Thank you.